Leo, this is for you, Sun, Moon, and Rising for February 2022. We're doing a little different this month. We are answering the question for past, present, and future. What is not making me feel good? And what is making me feel good? So we have the energy deck and the past life deck for what's not making me feel good, past, present, and future. And then we have the animal deck and the crystal angels deck for what's making me feel good, past, present, and future. We're going to clarify with the Rider-Waite Mini. And I have my magnetic ball here too. So I want you to ask a question now if you'd like a question answered just for fun. So go ahead and ask your question. I'm going to pull the ball for your answer here, Leo. This is for February 2023. So go ahead, ask a question. And there we go. All right, Leo, what's going on for you? We're going to start with the energy deck for what's not been making you feel good. So you become more aware of what's not making you feel good and what is making you feel good. So your answer is definitely not, Leo. So whatever you ask, definitely not. So what is not making you feel good? Thank you so much for being here. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like the video. It helps me a lot, and I so appreciate your time here. And if you want something else besides this general reading, my information is below as well as on my website, twinflames3344.com, for readings and or healing energies. You can check that out. I also have a CD out there called Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames by Evelyn Stainthorpe. If you want to check that out, it's only $1 for a song. It's my music, piano, and voice. And then here we go. Leo, 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 as Lilith is in Leo now. So what are you dealing with? All right, Leo, for February 2023, past, present, and future. What is not making you feel good? All right, so in the past for you, Leo, all tied up, was not making you feel good. And there's the 23 of the King of Wands. That's definitely your energy. Maybe somebody else playing games with you, or you playing games with someone else. Or just feeling like your hands are always tied and you're in a story about having to save the damsel in distress and not feeling good about that. In the present, it's about strategy. You are not feeling good always having to strategize or having to journal or make plans for everybody else. The 21 of the world, traveling the world or completing the plans for yourself or others. Always being the one to have to strategize or set the compass or the direction for the group perhaps, or for the whole. Or maybe even writing. Maybe you're tired of that. Or just being the ship's captain, so to speak. And then in the future, what's not making you happy is the 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel, which has to do with talking. Gabriel's the messenger, and your mouth, the throat chakra being activated here, and the trumpeter, which trumpeting came up a lot. It comes up as the cranes were just coming up to be looked up the other day for me. So cranes trumpeting, as well as the elephants trumpet when they're being hunted, and they're right before they die, they trumpet. So there's this energy of the crane and the elephant, and those energies needing to speak their truth. The very elegant, dancing, beautiful crane, as well as the elephant who comes up as the very worn, weathered, wise one, right? Who's broken, who's been through the trenches, but still clearing with each step. And needing to speak your truth about that. This is the throat chakra being activated with the 39 is the Knight of Cups. To be love and speak your truth. And maybe that was something that was hard for you to express your emotions, so you didn't like that, didn't feel good. And again, this is the knight who's always expected to save the damsel in distress, not wanting to do that. And the underlying energy was deceit. Perhaps maybe you had to do it by deceiving or telling people your hands were tied or playing games. This could be somebody else other than yourself as the Knight of Wands. Someone, again, always having to rush in and save the day, or being the player, right? Always dealing a false hand. What's underneath there? With the Empress energy here, right? Somebody, maybe this Empress has all the power with the money, and having to play them to get what you want. That could be a partner, a mother, a boss, and the Knight of Wands there. So that's kind of creepy. So maybe you had to be someone you don't want to be, or you're not, in order to, the way you were taught to be, to get what you want. Or tired of being the prisoner, tired of saving others, tired of having to lie or deceive people to make somebody else happy. Tired of rescuing someone, getting them out of trouble. And these could be two different energies I'm getting too, like two different kids' energies. One is always the damsel in distress, and the other one's the bad one, the bad boy type energies, whether it's a girl or a boy. Okay, and so what else in the past, present, and future was making you not feel good? Not feel good. All right, this is for Leo, February 2023, past, present, and future. What's not making you feel good? All right, first card out for the past is the arts. Maybe there's something about the arts that was not making you feel good. Maybe someone pushed you into the arts and you didn't want to take guitar or piano. Or maybe your children and you're pushing them into the arts and they don't want to do it, but there's some energy that wasn't making you feel good. Someone needing to be serenaded, right, with music, right? To be that, suave and debonair, one who's the player who sweeps you off your feet, who serenades you with his song. It wasn't making someone feel good. Or maybe someone always wanted to be in the arts, but they didn't have the talent for it, whether it's singing or other instruments. Maybe they just never had a knack for it. And that didn't make you feel good because you weren't naturally good at it like other people. Right? Maybe you always saw, the famous musicians as the one who got the girls. So you wanted to be a player like a musician, but it didn't end up making you feel good. And the central energy here, what wasn't making you feel good, was having to be wise all the time, to be the wise one, and never being able to let go, to be pure all the time, to be the one always strategizing, making the plans, steering the ship. You have to be the good one, and it wasn't making you feel good. And then, again, this could be past life energies regarding the arts and wisdom. And again, there's that energy of Rome with the pillars that came up in Cancer's read. And for them, it was coming up as the torturous energies of a Colosseum, but for you, it's coming up as like the playwrights. And the theologists, right? The philosophers, Plato. And again, there's past life wounding around this. Plagiarism I'm getting as well. And acting, And you didn't like this. Having to play the part. Having to always play the part of the knight in shining armor, right? The one who does the right thing. And then what's coming up in the future here is the food and hunger, starvation energies here. Bread and water, and spiritually connecting on that one. And that's not a very healthy cup either, is it? So in the future, bread's going to be not making you feel good. And you may actually feel it in your throat. You may get more mucusy, or allergies may come up if you eat bread. And there may be a certain type of bread. You may have a wound regarding bread and water because that was the only thing you were allowed to eat at one point, right? It's the only thing that you could get your hands on. Maybe this is a problem for you eating bread. Because it's not because you shouldn't or can't eat bread. It's because you have a wound around bread and water because that was the only thing you could eat. So you swore you'd never eat it again. The bottom of the deck is the high priest or priestess. And again, this underlying energy of the past, of being the high priest, being the leader of perhaps of a tribe where all the people of the tribe, counted on every word you said. Like if you said it was going to rain, it was going to rain. If you said they were going to have crops for the season, you'd have crops for the season. All of it fell on you. And there's that energy of spirituality and religion, but reversed. like alternative spirituality and religion, and being followed, and having to be deceitful in that, right? Learning to lie because you can't show your true belief system. All right, so definitely Shakespeare's coming up from the past. And what you did in performing, maybe you were performing in Shakespeare or other types of plays from the past in, Rome or Greece or whatever this is, but always needing to be the wise one and not feeling good about it. Not feeling good about being deceitful, lying, having to be the player, right? As an actor, being a player. And that can be, as well, the healer of your group, the high priest or priestess, or those high priests or priestess who are fooling you, like pretending, putting on a performance to make people believe. The arts and entertainment field here is big for you. And then there's starvation's big in the arts and entertainment field too, right? Always having to be skinny on stage. But there's an energy, there's a past life energy of starvation here. All right, so what's making you feel good, past, present, and future for Leo? Past, present, and future for February 2023. What's making you feel good? Good for Leo. I was just getting the cats on the top since your Leo is just coming up. All right, so for the past, what's making you feel good, or was, or would have made you feel good if you had done this, is unity. 5 of change, freedom, and expansion. Perhaps teaching children purity, of integrity, and the northern lights are in there too, the polar bear. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, find a new teacher, or spend time with others who are also on the sacred path. And there's very much that energy about teaching your children what you've learned about purity and sacredness and spiritual growth and spiritual freedom, allowing to believe what you want to believe. And the northern lights are really coming in strong right there. So this is making you feel good. I don't know if you visited the northern lights to see the northern lights, or the North Pole, Alaska, anywhere that's cold that you might find polar bears. The colder regions, knowing that it's healthy to be in cold weather. It really stimulates the blood and it preserves as well. That's coming up as well. But it really made you feel good. And it's all about unity there, coming together. Even if you don't have the same beliefs, you can still honor each other and show each other respect. Be pure of heart. What's presently making you feel good is the 3 raccoons. Renewal with the 20, which is the wake-up call. The raccoon, it's time to get clarity about your life purpose and make changes so that you're on the path most divinely suited for you. Forgive what has been without judgment and fearlessly embrace what's to come. So there's definitely a big shift here for you from that old way of being. A wake-up call. And it definitely involves the family. You have 3 here and you have 3 here. It could be a parent and 2 children, or just 3. And there's a butterfly in both pictures of freedom. So freeing you and your children, or the freedom for you each to believe what you want to believe. And again, in this picture, they're kind of afraid to come out of their little hole there in the tree, with fear of what might be out there for them to face. But forgive what has been without judgment and fearlessly embrace what's to come. Don't be afraid to come out of that tree, come out of that hole, come out of that family safe place. And what's in the future that's making you feel good is the 4 of autumn, which is the squirrel. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you are spending too much versus hoarding your wealth, or giving too much emotionally versus building walls to keep people out. So there's that extremes. And what's making you feel good is doing this work of seeing when you're being polarized and then bring it back to the middle, because you're very hung up on purity as a polarization here, and then you have deceit as the other polarity over there, and the need to bring that to the middle. And again, he's collecting nuts and bread, so you may obsess about having enough food for the winter, you know, buying a lot of food before the winter to make sure you have enough to survive. That could be a wound as well, but it makes you feel good. And then the bottom of the deck is the Three of Winter. Cuddling up in the winter is also here. The rose-breasted grosbeak. Sadness is a part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you'll be stronger than before. So again, you're coming up as not being comfortable with dealing with emotions, perhaps, or having had a loss in the past, but there's definitely a couple here. And cuddling up for the winter as well, keeping each other warm. But there's deceit. And then the high priest or priestess here. Very different people right there. So I'm not sure what that was all about. Right? Because this line is coming in very pure. And this one's coming in very deceitful, playing games. And perhaps you see the arts and entertainment field as a place of, you know, like the marketplace that was coming up for my other twin flame energies today, was the marketplace in Jesus Christ Superstar, where he says, you know, just stay here today. You know, why you need to pursue and get yourself involved with gossip and what everyone else is doing when you should be focusing on what you want. You made my house into a den of thieves. Get out, get out. You have made my house into a den of thieves. Get out, get out. So you may be kicking somebody out of the house. Soothe, calm, and I shall soothe you, calm you and anoint you, mirthful your hot forehead. Oh, don't you know everything's all right? Yes, everything's fine. And it's cool and the ointment's sweet for the fire in your head and feet. Close your eyes and relax. Think of nothing tonight. So that's coming up, and what follows that is I don't know how to love him. Spirit's connecting with me here. All right, so what else is making you feel good, Leo? Past, present, and future for February 2023. Leo, what's making you feel good? Okay, Charite, spiritual protection. You're being watched over and protected physically, emotionally, and energetically. So it's saying you don't need to worry. All is well. And this can relate to the arts as well, right? Being in that high vibration of beautiful music and beautiful art. You know, teaching your children right from wrong, right? The sacred way of being. It doesn't matter what their beliefs are. You can still respect each other's belief systems and their wants and their needs. And then currently what's making you feel good is turquoise with spiritual path. Your true beliefs are becoming clearer to you, which prompts you to make necessary life changes. So you're getting really clear, and turquoise may be helping you right now to get that clarity of what your true beliefs are, so that you can be brave enough to go out into the world and take off your mask and do it without judgment of yourself and or others. So you're ready, you're making a big change here, becoming clear as to what your own spiritual path is. And this is a common theme for everybody this month. In the future, what's making you feel good is aquamarine and divine life purpose. Trust the signs of your inner guidance, which are leading you to fulfillment. Okay? Trust the signs in your inner guidance, which are leading you to fulfillment. So if it's making you feel good to collect nuts for the winter, then go ahead and do it. As long as you're following your inner calmness, your inner guidance, what makes you feel good. If it makes you feel good, go ahead. And it may be something that may not ultimately be the best thing for you, but you will transcend it if you allow it. You keep allowing whatever you need to do that makes you feel good and makes you feel balanced and grounded. And when you no longer need to do that, you'll transcend that and move on to something else. So don't judge yourself or others. Allow it to go through. Allow that energy to pass through. And again, there's this energy of food and hunger in the future. So you may be dealing with healing that wound in the future, of allowing yourself to soothe yourself by collecting nuts for the winter. And the bottom of the deck is yellow jasper, which is control issues. Utilize your God-given strength and power instead of fearing that others may try to control you. Knowing that you don't need to pre-plan because every situation is the same. You show up in front of another person, you either have a great time, you need to work it out, and if you can't do that in a calm way, you simply walk away. Okay? It's always the same. It's never different. You don't need to pre-plan it. You don't worry that their words are going to be more talented than your words when it comes to sparring. If it doesn't resonate with you, you just simply say, I'm not resonating with this, it doesn't feel good, and I won't have someone yelling at me or abusing me or anything like that. And always be in your truth with love. And no one can ever fault you for that. They can walk out of your life. But if you are in your truth and love, then those who resonate with you and you with them will walk back into your life. And you don't need to fear any of that. You don't need to fear being alone. When you find how to be satisfied with yourself at all times, you're in the ultimate place because you'll never fear being alone because you're very happy with yourself. All right, so let's go ahead and clarify some of this for you, Leo. So there's definitely this polarity of the high priest and priestess and the deceiving one in your underlying energies. And it may have to do with a relationship here and control issues. Yellow jasper. Right? Someone wanted to control the other, perhaps both trying to be the controlling one. All right, and so what wasn't making you feel good in the past is coming up as the King of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, which these two came up together in the same way for Cancer's read, but it was positive for them, but it didn't feel like it was them. So you may be the other person, Leo, or somebody that you know. This wasn't making you feel good, though. This was making Cancer feel good here in the future. But for you in the past, this was not making you feel good, which may be someone who is abusive or lying or verbally abusive or just silent and very negative regarding the very abundant family, business, or community here and feeling imprisoned here by someone's negativity or abuse. And that could be someone who's just gone silent as well or very cutthroat. Feeling imprisoned. Again, feeling imprisoned by the abundance of a family who's also very negative, right? They're expected to be saved by them, who's a negative person, and only keeping themselves attached because of the abundance involved. And then here, oh, this is interesting too. So here's this, the same thing came in with Cancer, but not with the King of Swords. It was another energy with the Queen of Cups upright. Both of them waiting, like focusing on their inner self to find their truth before, like their truth coming in to them as the family here, though, before deciding on something, not allowing others to sway you. So this person could be trying to sway this family here who feels imprisoned by it, but learning to go within as a prisoner, someone kept in prison for many years, learns to go within to follow their own guidance. So they can't be swayed in the future by people like that. And so what's making you feel really good in the recent past or in the past? Leo, what's been making you feel good? The King of Wands, being the man of passion and healing, forgiving, apologizing, right? Getting out of your ego, getting out of your own way, being more humble, right? Teaching the children right from wrong. Maybe you have grandchildren and you're just really enjoying that energy. And here you have the Empress upright as well, who may be trying to end the nightmare or is finally able to sleep. And this could be two people in separation, but healing. Healing disappointment, healing separation, healing heartbreak, healing a physically bad heart. And this could be partners, but this also could be a mother and son energy here. And this mother, right, ending, now she's able to sleep, or now she's ending the nightmares. And this is making them feel better. In the present situation, what wasn't making you feel good? Trying to find peace, or perhaps traveling, sending kids back and forth was not making you feel good. Having to always be the one with the calendar of events, of telling everybody what they had to do, where and when, right? Having to do that for a child instead of them doing it for themselves. This can be someone lying and spying and talking back to their parents, right? It can also be energies of autism or ADHD, right? Bipolarism, and having a tough time with a child. And having to always be the wise one here, especially with the Queen of Wands here, who could be misbehaving. So maybe you have a child who likes to get into trouble, or likes to have sex, likes to party, and you have another child who's lying or has literal, difficulties, mental challenges or physical challenges in communication. Or literally another kid who's got a smart mouth on them, who's younger, and then another one who's a teenager who's going out and partying with their friends or having sex and that kind of stuff. So it may have been very challenging for you having to deal with this, or find peace, or send them away. And then what's making you feel good at present, Leo? Perhaps working out, perhaps cleaning up the yard, carrying the weight, or perhaps not worrying about your weight for once, right? Maybe you are overweight, but you're saying, yeah, but I'm good, I love myself. But here's the King of Pentacles reversed, who may feel ungrounded or may have hurt themselves carrying too much weight, but it was feeling good. Maybe this forced you to stop and be still for a minute and actually allow yourself to heal and connect with yourself again. Or allowed you to spend more time with the family, but feeling overwhelmed, pushed to the limit, the emotional limit. But maybe you like this. You like being challenged physically and emotionally, because this is being pushed to the physical limit, and this is being pushed to the emotional limit, or having your buttons pushed, being triggered. Perhaps by this person who's sovereign, or perhaps you're doing this on purpose to get someone to leave you, or to become single again. Or you're working out because you want to get together with this person. So it's either pushing someone out of your life, or just working. Maybe you're just you've been raised really competitively, and you want to be challenged physically and emotionally in every which way to see what you can handle, right? To get to the Nine of Pentacles, right? The ultimate single person, the catch. To challenge yourself, to keep leveling up. That could be someone leveling up. It makes you feel good. Or again, you're doing something to trigger somebody else, to get them to be single and independent as a child, or to get someone to leave because you don't want them in your house anymore. But whatever it is, it does feel good with your kids here, and teaching them and not to be afraid and to be independent. And in the future here, what's not making you feel good is the Page of Cups reverse. And that could be a child who's crying all the time. It can be someone who's deemed as a crybaby. It can be deemed as someone who's shy and withdrawn, with emotional issues that may be perceived. Or it can be the spoiled, entitled child who expects everyone to just bow down to them whenever they throw a temper tantrum or start whining. Right? This is rejection post-war, post-virus. Or perhaps the child or grandchild is rejecting you, and you don't feel good when that happens, right? But after the war, making up, coming together, but you don't like that. You're Leo, you like being the center of attention. You like it when people like you. You don't like to come together only because you're performing, right? Because you're the clown. You want that true love relationship. And you don't want a relationship with a child who then is going to manipulate you emotionally. And you need to speak your truth. And there's a starvation wound here regarding this, your inner child feeling rejected, not being fed properly. So something in the future is not making you feel good, and it has to do with starvation issues. Whether it's you not getting fed, you're not feeding your inner child properly, or you're not feeding another child outside of yourself properly, or spoiling them, or neglecting them. And it has to do with starvation and food, and bread and water, and speaking your truth. It's like I'm getting Oliver, right? When he comes up for more porridge or soup, and he says, "More, sir," or "Can I please have a piece of bread and water, sir?" Being brave enough to ask, like, because you're scared that you're going to get arrested, or someone's going to hurt you or kidnap you. If you're a kid on the street looking for bread and water. So this wounding may be coming up for you, and it doesn't make you feel good. But what's making you feel good is making sure, hunkering down for the winter, making sure you have everything you need just in case of emergencies, having lots of stock regarding food. The Knight of Cups reversed, again, is that energy of rejection or jealousy, or the schmoozer who just kisses up to everybody to get them to do things for them, right? It's kind of like a player energy, but an emotional player as opposed to a sex player. They play on your emotions, and kids are very good at that, aren't they? So here it could be two kids. Again, you may have a lot of kids around you, Leo. And again, this is where the kids need to swallow their pride to you, like not always letting them get their way. But now they need to come cleaner. They need to swallow their pride if they want to play with you more. You're not just going to let them get away with murder, okay? You're teaching them here. What's making you feel good is allowing them to sit in their negative emotions and not always making it perfect for them. Because now you understand, because before maybe somebody was becoming spoiled and you understood, I can't do that anymore because it's not helping them. They have to learn to do it on their own. And then we have the King of Cups, which is making you very happy that you get to be, right, when they're not behaving, then you're not going to be all gushy with them. You're going to be loving and strong, but you're also not going to just let them have their way. You're going to be a loving parent here, very confident in your emotions and not worried about it. And again, you're learning from your past mistakes here, of not letting them right back in after they do things wrong, because they need to learn what they did and also respect you in return. And then we have the High Priestess. This could be a Pisces energy as well here. So we have Aquarius reversed and Pisces upright here, who may be coming back into the fold. This could be two parents also who don't agree on the way the children or grandchildren should be taken care of. And then the bottom of the deck is the Hanging Man reversed. So this is an ego energy that needs to be dealt with kids perhaps, or yours. This can be a wake-up call or a bright idea, like whose bright idea was this anyway, or a really good idea that needs to be developed. And this could be an awakening energy too. Let's see what was behind that. Okay, after some grief, loss, regret, okay, shame and guilt, and awakening to that, becoming wiser, and perhaps sharing what you've learned. Sharing what you've learned as a wise person, especially if you're a grandparent, you've had a whole life of learning things that you can teach to your children, your grandchildren. So again, it very much feels like I'm really enjoying teaching the kids, but learning what you've allowed them to get away with, maybe that you shouldn't in the future, because you learned what happened when you did do that. And again, the past life energies regarding arts and entertainment, performing arts, having to be the perfect example all the time, right? The man of integrity at all times is not something easy to live up to. Perhaps you end up lying to people because you're expected to be perfect, whether that's at work or within the family. And then deception comes in, right? Because nobody can be perfect. So romance angels for Leo. What is your message for February 2023? Religious factors. Your love life is being influenced by your religious upbringing and your spiritual path. And that may differ from someone you're with, or the upbringing of kids or grandkids. And that doesn't have to be religious factors. It could be age differences, it could be cultural differences, whatever your major differences are. But there are romantic feelings here, and they're real and worth exploring. And there may be issues with finances and career that are also a factor in your love life right now, perhaps getting in the way. And the underlying energy is your codependencies, that addictions are affecting your romantic life. And that could be addiction to playing with the kids, or the grandkids. And there's the kids. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Make the effort. But addictions may be affecting your romantic life as well. So there needs to be some kind of balancing done here. And then from my Kipper, my Lenormand, Reverie, and Kipper deck combined, let's see what comes up for you here. So you have religious and financial differences here. Or just that your finances are affecting your love life. And codependencies and the underlying energies. And again, that came up as control issues. One may be very religious, and one may be somewhat deceitful, or a player type of energy, or being seen like that. One could be very religious, and one could be more alternative. And, someone needed to control the relationship. All right, so last card for you guys. Cards. Okay, so the magnifying glass. The 44 is the Four of Cups, of boredom and apathy, or grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love. Why are you ignoring someone who's offering you love? Why are you ignoring God's love? Right? So we've all been trained to sacrifice ourselves and serve everybody else and not love ourselves appropriately. And this is you learning how to do that, learning how to let other people love you, looking at the details, perhaps making them bigger than they are. This could be tests, exams, anything like that coming up. 44 is also for me Hercules of the feminine, the social worker type of energy, and her harvest. And needing to show you every little detail of what she's contributed to the relationship. Maybe that's what's coming up. There could be some adjudication here. Testing your limits regarding the home, the family, the union. Right? Maybe needing a mediator because you can't, there's something that you can't reconcile between you. And again, reconciling differences. And it's not seeing a split here, but there's maybe, going to counseling for those energies that you've had issues around all these years. Perhaps to get another perspective, to look closer at the details. Or this could be an inspection as well. There could be legal or court dealings here, but something that's causing an ungroundedness. This is the wounded warrior and suffering in silence, which was coming up over here with the Empress, of feeling unrooted, feeling like you're pulling up anchor, or perhaps deciding on whether or not you want to sell a house, or if you are going to split up. But there's definitely that energy of the need to surrender, or have to give up the details in some kind of audit or assessment here. Or your patience is being tested here. And again, this could be an inheritance. It could be a dispute around inheritance or monies in a marriage after a death, or ending of a marriage, or a case closed. Again, suitcases are coming up for whatever reason. Drawers under the bed are coming up for whatever reason. I've never said that before. Maybe stained glass window. And again, it could just be just dealing with inheritances, or taxes or funeral expenses, because finances are coming up here. And again, 19 is the sun in Leo. 35, the wounded warrior, is more Sagittarius energy here. So his and hers, you may be buying coffins. Maybe you're getting a plot for the family. Maybe one person doesn't want to be buried. So maybe disagreement there. And then we have the wise community of birds, perhaps, that may help here. And again, this could be a funeral, reaping the rewards of your efforts, exposing wisdom of the group, or perhaps the feminine's perspective could be coming up here as well. And the underlying energy is the 26 of the Page of Wands and Great Fortune. So this could be some kind of trophy, right? Hitting the jackpot, hitting gold here. The gold bearer, maybe you bought some gold and it went up. Or this could be, a Golden Globe win, be a big award. Maybe someone has a Golden Globe, if you're a famous person's relative, and perhaps fighting over who gets it, something as simple as that. Not necessarily simple, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it just feels like you're kind of growing and learning with the family. There could be some inheritance stuff going on. There could be a death that happened already. It's not part of your read, so it already happened. It could be, who gets this and who gets that. In the future, perhaps sitting down with your kids if they're grown and deciding who's going to get what and who's not. Or again, there could be something in court over here, or that's just mediation. Maybe a couple decides to go to counseling because they just want to work out some issues they've always had. But I feel for you specifically, it's more about, teaching and learning each other. Like you're not just teaching the kids or grandkids, but they're teaching you too. And then you each shift from those learnings and then come back together in a whole new way. That's what's coming up. Okay? So remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature. Follow your intuition first and last. Be good to yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just, go with the flow. And rise and be love. I'll see you guys soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.